doesn't, in the media industry, you don't need a degree in media. And I would say, I mean, I happen to do drama, but other, friends of mine, I was in the same year at university as people like Sue Perkins and Ben Miller, and they're all kind of friends of mine, and none of them did drama. They're all on telly now, or comedians, or whatever. They all did their own thing. Ben Miller was actually a PhD physicist, and I mean, he's a very bright lad, but it didn't matter. So it just, as you say, it's the experience of that higher level education and the opportunities that it can open up for you. But it doesn't actually matter the subject. And there are also then plenty of people who don't go to university, other than our young friend.
How resilient do you need to be? Like in terms of your careers, I mean, obviously you can look back on them with the benefit of hindsight now, but with everyone in the room sort of embarking, sort of starting their careers now, do you look back and think, oh, do you know what, I just needed to toughen up at certain points, or actually, like whether it's criticism or what,
In my field, you get criticised a lot, even if they don't say it to your face. So at my first job, we would all come up with a design from the same idea, and they'd be side by side, and we would critique each other. So you're literally having the artwork you've done critiqued by your peers, by your art director. And that made me pretty thick-skinned, but it's still hard. Even now, I feel defensive of my work sometimes when I give a website design to a client and they come back and say, no, that's not what we want. I have to put aside my pride and my feelings of that is what you want. No, not what you want, but what you need. And pretend that I know. Well, the truth is, this is their baby. They know. I just need to understand them better. And I need to ask more questions. And I need to listen. And then after listening and fully understanding who they are, then I will make my work more for them. So it is. Yeah, it's difficult though, because it can feel very personal.
So for me, it was building up my internal resilience to criticism and to rejection. And once I'd got that under control, I felt much calmer and much easier about everything.
Great. So I've just been rereading a lot of these profiles and about all of you, all looking nervously at me. And there's a lot of multitasking. Well, not multitasking, but a lot of different bits of things that you've been doing over the course of your careers so far. How big is multitasking and the ability to sort of juggle numerous things in time management and various aspects like that? Nev, you haven't spoken in a while.
Well, if you're freelance, well, I think in any job, actually, managing your time is really important. All those kind of process books and to-do books and all of that stuff, there is some useful stuff in there. Setting yourself big targets, then breaking it down. I split my year into 3-month periods, and I'll literally write down the days and write down what I'm going to do on each day. Like, obviously, there's a point, you're not necessarily going, okay, in 3 weeks at 2 o'clock I'm going to be having a cup of tea. There's a limit, but that way it's helped me to actually get through more work and also not feel overwhelmed, especially when you're working on big projects where it can be really debilitating, because you're like, the thing about journalism which I really liked was do an article, get published next month, it's done, it'll be there, and that's a certain reward. Filmmaking is much more drawn out, and it's harder to have those moments of, oh, it's done, because it might take, I've been working on a film now, which is now, I think we've been working on it for 5 years, on and off. It's still not being made, although it's with an actor at the moment, he'd better say yes. Does that answer your question, vaguely? I don't know, I feel like I've just rambled.
I was teeing you up for a humorous anecdote.
Oh, the multitasking.
Yeah,
that's extreme multitasking, though, that is.
Do share.
I'd forgotten about that, sorry. When I was freelancing in Devon, and I worked from home a lot of the time, and I was looking after my children, who at the time were, I think, sort of 10, 6 and 3 or something. You know, I forget. I think I got 3. And the phone rings and someone says, "Hey, is that Nev? We've got Leo for you." And I'm like, "What? Leo?" And I was thinking, "Oh no, they've got the interview time wrong." So I give the 3-year-old to the 6-year-old to the 11-year-old and go upstairs, look after your sister, you go on the laptop and play. And then I pick up the phone again and go, "Yeah, okay," and I interview Leonardo DiCaprio. And spend 20 minutes on the phone. And usually when you interview these people, you're given you might get an hour, you might get 10 minutes, and usually it's like, someone like him, maybe it's 10 minutes. So it's meant to be 10 minutes, but we got on quite well, and it's going on and on. And I haven't prepared any questions, because the interview was later on, so I'm just making it up. And all I can think is, my daughter's going to fall down the stairs in a minute. And it gets to the point, they try and wrap it up, and he goes, "Oh no, you can ask any more questions." And I just pause. "Or are you good, Nev?" "Yeah, I'm good, Leo." So that, I guess that is extreme multitasking.
That is extreme multitasking, that's good. Any questions? Is anyone? Yes, Ed.
Is it normal to be extremely intimidated by certain parts of your work? Because sometimes I worry that I might think I'm perfectly equipped to do something, and then when I get there, I'm going to be up shit creek without any real knowledge of what to do, and I'm just going to panic. Is that a normal feeling to have?
Yeah, I feel like that every day. Every single day. I think it's really, really normal to have those moments where you're like, okay, yeah, I've done all the preparation, I'm good at what I do, I'm hardworking, I'm energetic, I'm honest, and I'm bright, and you've got all these great intentions. But for me, I know that I can write a great article for a magazine, and I know that I can organise an event for 600 people, and they'll all turn up and they'll all have a great time. But still, there's a small part of me every single day that feels like I can't do it, and it's too big, and I'm scared of doing that part of the job because I'll get it wrong. But I think that's just kind of my personality, and it always gets done, and afterwards I look back and I think you did an amazing job on that. But I think it's very normal to have those fears and being overwhelmed and intimidated by something that's not in your comfort zone, but you have to do anyway.
I completely agree. I think as a production manager, again, we were talking about, sometimes I feel like an imposter thinking, I can't do this. But actually, if you're going into this, you are going to have butterflies every night before a shoot. You're going to be worried sick. The thing is, you plan, and you have contingency, A, B, C, D, whatever. You just have to accept this is what it is, but it's excitement as well. And the thing is, you cannot panic. You have to, even if you're panicking inside, just put a smile and go, right. And remember, you're not on your own. You've got how many people on the set as well, or in the same studio, or in your team, all feeling exactly the same. It's a team effort. You just have to lead it if you're in that position. But it's a collective thing, okay? So, but it is it's just planning.
Yeah. So if you ever do feel completely terrified, if you have people around you that do the same thing you do, like talk to them and get help and ask questions, because the worst thing you can do is say you know how to do it and you obviously don't know. So there are times where imposter syndrome is a real thing, and don't just lie. But you can learn how to do things by saying, I want to do that, can you teach me how? So you don't lie and say, yes, I can, produce that video in 2 days. No, you can't. But you can learn how to do it, and you can ask for help. So I guess it's tempting when you're first starting out to say yes to everything, but don't be afraid to say I want to do that, but I'm not sure how yet. And they'll help you. So just always be willing. As long as you're willing, someone's going to come in and help you out.
Yeah. And you've thought about the scenarios, and you've got solutions, and you just refer upwards.
Yeah.
Because that's how we all start. We're still learning on the job. I mean, there's programs I put on, I'm going, how do I do that? I don't understand that. But I'll find people out and say, I don't know, can you help me here? And people love helping.
Yeah.
In TV, they will talk forever. If you say, how does that work? Well, and don't get the technical people involved because they will talk for hours. But that's great. It's learning your job. Never stops. Never stops.
And if you're by yourself, you can Google it. I'm not kidding.
Any other questions? Okay, I've got a couple more. We've got a little bit of time left. Any humorous stories about when you got something completely wrong and what you learned from that? Look at that perfect panel, everyone.
I designed a $10,000 banner and it had a typo on it.
What type of typo? Was it like an Americanism or was it like...
No, this was in America, so
All right.
it was for teen driver safety, and one of those banners was going to be in Times Square. This one wasn't, thank God. But it was hand-drawn type, and I had to place each letter in Illustrator at the bottom, and there was a typo at the bottom, and they had to reprint it, and I got in big trouble.
Yeah.
That was embarrassing.
Well, okay, well, I mean, thank goodness it wasn't in Times Square, eh? Yeah.
That one was not.
Did you own up to it?
Oh yeah, I said I didn't send it through the proofreader. Like, I'm sorry. Like, what do you say? Like, obviously it didn't go through the proofreader. There's only like, what, 500, not even 200 characters in the whole thing, so.
Okay. Any other questions? Because I'll just keep asking them.
I mean, someone else can talk about the mistakes.
Just in terms of mistakes, I mean, the one that comes to mind was when I was on work experience at a newspaper when I was probably 18, 19, and I wrote a comedy article and was encouraged to submit it by one of the colleagues there. And I remember, and I thought, yeah, she's not very good, but I submitted it anyway. And I remember the news editor, and this comes down to criticism and resilience. I remember the news editor, I could see him across the room, he looked at it and he held it up and he said, "I'm not putting this shit in my paper." And I thought, he's right. That's a bad piece. And I learned two things there. One was, don't submit stuff that you're not personally happy with, because it's really annoying to be called on stuff which you know is wrong. But also, and this is a thing you continually learn, your work is not you. You know, people can criticise your stuff and they may have a point and you may have to go, yeah, okay, actually, so you learn from it.
Okay. So, when I was at uni, everything was tape-based. And we're now, and everything, you know, it was switching to high definition, and these cameras were ridiculously expensive, and now it's all on your smartphone, which means, to a certain extent, the marketplace, in terms of what people can create now, whether it's like vlogs on YouTube, whether it's reviews on YouTube, whether it's films, short films. Would you agree that the market is now being diluted and that it's becoming even harder for new talent to come to the forefront? And if so, what do you think the major challenges
I totally
are?
disagree with you, actually.
I'm just putting it out there. I'm not necessarily I agree
Okay.
with it. I'm just putting
Right.
it out there.
No, I think now with digital media and the fact that you can all go and make films on an DSLR camera, we've got one at home, you can do it on your phone. I think the opportunities for people to be creative and get it out there are absolutely huge, because when we were kids, my God, it cost a fortune. The camera cost a fortune, the roll of film cost a fortune, it cost a fortune to develop it, and you only had 24 pictures, and videos were tapes, and you then couldn't edit it. There was no way of doing it. You did it kind of tape to tape machines, and this is going back a long way. It was so difficult, it was so expensive. Now anybody can do it, and the good thing is everybody's got a phone. You don't have to invest a load of money, only time in things, and you can do it, and you can share it on YouTube, you can share it on social media. If you're a musician, you can upload it to the BBC One Introducing. You can get your stuff seen, and so it's a different way in. So I think good stuff, yeah, there's a lot of rubbish out there, but so what? Those people who are creating rubbish today, like you're saying, everybody creates rubbish at some time in their life, but that's just a stepping stone to being absolutely amazing. And if you stick with it and you learn from your mistakes, you can be the next person, and you needn't have spent,